Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and this is Wednesday Warriors, and today Kathy and I are going to be responding to the question, my body seems to be healthy again, but my mind is still so sick. I hate that nobody can see that. How do I get better? Well, I have had a similar experience in my own past where my body seemed to become healthy enough, and yet my mind was still really struggling, and people just thought that because I wasn't as thin as I used to be, I was fine. And it is really hard to make people see that, so I definitely understand where this viewer is coming from with this question. It's extremely frustrating. The mind is very complex, and it takes a lot to heal it, but the body is simpler, and you just give it food and water and sleep and the right amount of exercise, and it's healthy. So you kind of have a dilemma when your mind isn't quite up to par with where your body is, and making those two mesh together and have people really grasp that the mind can be sick while the body is okay is very hard. Forgetting about what others think is key, and I know that this is an easy thing to say and not an easy thing to do, but even though it's frustrating that they can't see you're still sick, you're supposed to be living for you, not for them, so you need to keep that in the forefront of your mind. Contrary to what you might think, you don't have to prove yourself. You don't. You have to think about all the people out there who have mental health problems. It doesn't always show in the body. You understand what I'm saying? Talk to people. The ones that you care about the most. If they're not getting that you still need help because your mind is sick, tell them. Help them get it. Now, there are going to be those people out there that they're never going to get it. They're never going to really understand. They're going to think that it's not as serious because your body's okay, even though your mind is struggling. Some people just don't know how to wrap their minds around mental health issues. So there will be people that you won't be able to reach, but by just sort of living your everyday life and hoping for people to understand that your mind is still sick is something that you can't allow to happen when you are struggling. You have to reach out, you have to tell them, you have to try to explain it to them the best you can, and then at least you can say that you tried everything to the best of your ability. The sun is a little bit blinding, not to me, but to the camera. I can tell it's going to keep making wavy lines of sunlight over me, but it doesn't really matter what I look like. It's more important what I'm saying, so I will just continue. As far as talking to people, sometimes you can explain your situation to the best of your ability, and people are still at a loss. So I would suggest giving them literature about the subject. I mean, there are plenty of books out there that can help friends and family members gain perspective. There are books that are easy reads, just maybe you found a book where the person in the book is someone that you can really relate to, so that if you gave that to a person, they could sort of understand how you're feeling. There are also just plain factual books. There are lots of different things that you can give friends and family members to help them understand what you're going through, even though your body may be okay at this point in time. You can put them in touch with your therapist, or vice versa. If you are seeing a therapist, you can say, I'd really like for my mom to talk to you. Would it be okay if she calls you? Or would it be all right if I could ask you to call and speak with my mom? Or to speak with my husband, or to speak with my dad. Whoever this person is, it can be really helpful to have someone in your life hear it from a different source when it's not just coming from you. I know it sounds bad, but they might take it more seriously, and I think we're all guilty of that at some point, where we want that second opinion, or we want that backup, and that's something that you can offer. If you are seeing someone, you can write friend or family member a letter. You can put your thoughts down on paper, sort of like a journal entry, and then you can go back and re-edit and make sure it's not too angry or, too revealing, and you might feel a little bit frightened to give it to them, but it might be easier than sitting down in the living room with someone and having a conversation about why you're still sick even though your body is okay. And those are things that I would definitely suggest, and none of them are super easy, but they're definitely worth a try, because obviously at this point in time it seems like nothing's working and people aren't getting it, and if you have nothing to lose, you might as well try these things. There are other very simple resources such as eating disorder forums on the internet, and I know that these are no substitute for therapy in the same way that a group is no substitute for therapy, but at the same time you can get understanding from a lot of people on those forums, and you can feel like you're not alone, and believe me, there are people of all different body types and weights, and if it is a good recovery forum, weights won't be an issue. You don't need to say, I weigh this, I'm this tall, etc., etc. You just go there and you say, this is my problem, no one's taking me seriously because my body is fine now and my mind is not fine. And, you can get a lot of perspective that way. You can get a lot of friends. You can get a lot of insight. Maybe others have things that they've tried with their friends or family members to help you out, but at the very least you'll feel less alone if you can try to give that a shot. There are definitely forums out there that are recovery based. There's a lot of great ones. I think personally for a long time I was teetering on the edge of being a healthy weight, and people thought, wow, she gained weight, she's not anorexic anymore. And one, it made me feel strange because it validated that I must be fine, even though I didn't feel fine. And on the other hand, it made me feel like a failure because they were going around saying, oh, she's better now, but really I wasn't better. And it was almost like I was faking it and they didn't know and they weren't getting it. So I do understand that this can be a very real problem, and it can really undermine your confidence in recovery, and it can be really a challenge to get better. So this question is a very excellent one. I wish I had more advice to give that would be more constructive, but really you have to go with your gut, and you do have to realize and understand that everyone is not going to understand, and you have to use all the resources that are at your fingertips. One really important thing: if your body is healthy and your mind isn't healthy, you're one step ahead of the game. You have that much more power to help your mind get in that recovery-oriented place. And it might seem like a silly thing, but it's not trivial. And getting a healthy body is very difficult. Some people struggle with getting a healthy body versus getting the healthy mind. So if you have one out of two, you're in good shape to keep going. And that healthy body is only going to fuel your mind into becoming healthy just like it is. So accentuate the positive, and anything that is a challenge is also beneficial to you. So remember that when you're going through everything. I mean, whether your mind or your body is the part of you that is ill, you have resources. If your body is sick, there are resources. If your mind is sick, there are resources. If both are sick, there are resources. There are things out there, and you can gain help. You don't have to be a certain weight in order to make use of those resources. So please remember that. And I hope everyone has a really great week. Bye.